Let's take a look at Biocon. Numbers came out. The stocks reacted positively. It was a good set. We're joined now by the management. Dr. Kiran Mazumdar joins in to talk about the numbers. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for taking out. Seems like a good quarter. Things are working well on all counts.
Yeah. Thanks. Yes, we have had an organizational structural change, and I think organizing the the whole business model around SBUs has really augured well for us, because we are really seeing some good traction on key verticals. The biosimilars vertical has really delivered very strongly on the back of insulin sales, largely in emerging markets. I think the branded formulations business continues to register growth at a steady pace. And if you look at our research services business, a very strong continued pace of growth, 26% year-on-year. And then of course our historic small molecules APIs business also has registered very, very robust growth. Novel molecules, of course, has had a very successful outcome. We are about to launch our second novel biologic, Alzumab, shortly, and we are on track to develop our oral insulin, and we are also in the process of commencing licensing discussions with several companies who are interested in our anti-CD6 itolizumab program. So I think we're seeing a lot of good traction on all fronts. And I think we've seen a good product mix, a focus on EBITDA margins. So clearly we are seeing improved earnings.
Right. Ma'am, you spoke about Alzumab. Launch would be sometime mid-August, I believe. What kind of contributions are you expecting from this launch?
Well, India is a fairly interesting market, because psoriasis is a very huge problem in India. Almost 3% of the population suffers from psoriasis. But having said that, the use of biologics in treating psoriasis is very, very small. And so we are trying to expand that market. So, you will see good contributions coming from this molecule in the years ahead. In the first year, yes, we expect to see some contribution to the branded formulations business, but I think the true contributions will only come from the second year onwards, because this year we have only half a year of sales to show.
Okay, got that. Ma'am, you spoke about biopharma as well, contract research business, also 26% growth this time. Is that the run rate? Can we extrapolate, for the remaining quarters of this fiscal?
Well, certainly we are very confident that we should be able to deliver on that. We've got a nice order book in terms of our research services business. The weak rupee is, of course, helping us a lot. But more than anything else, I think the differentiated value-added and high services that we're offering in Syngene is also differentiating us from other CROs, and we're seeing a lot of that kind of business come our way. And I think we are really focused on ensuring that we continue, building this business into a leadership state, where today we are only second to WuXi in Asia. But I do hope time will come when we can overtake WuXi at some stage.
You mentioned that you're going to continue your investments in biosimilars and in novel molecules in order to maintain sustained growth. What's the quantum of investments that we're looking at for FY14? Where are the chunk of investments going to be made?
Well, I think we have shared, I think I said in my opening statements that today we are investing 10% of our biopharma sales in R&D, the highest in the industry in India. So you can see we are very seriously investing in R&D. And as you know, both biosimilars and novel programs are very intensive in terms of investments and R&D investments at that. But this is an integral part of our business. And because we have very robust growth in our core business, which is generating good cash for us, and also realizing good margins for us, because if you look at our biopharma business, or if you look at our overall business, excluding R&D, our margins are a healthy 28%, and that's what allows us to invest very confidently into our R&D programs, which we believe will actually give us those exponential returns on in these investments.
Okay, got that. India-focused business, I mean, particularly if you compare the domestic business, I mean, most pharma companies at this point are facing a little bit of a setback, a little bit of a struggle right now. But, how do you see things shaping up and picking up in terms of a progression for the India business?
Well, I think our India business is really the branded formulations business, which has grown faster than the industry at 17% year on year. I think we could have registered much higher growth, which we expect to do so over the coming quarters. But everyone has been impacted by this policy uncertainty around drug pricing. And I think moving ahead, now that a lot of those concerns have been sort of addressed, I think all companies should see better growth in the coming quarters. Having said that, I'd also like to once again, say that again, Biocon's branded formulations business is very differentiated. We are the only branded formulations business that has such a high reliance on biologics, where 50% of our branded formulations business actually comes from biologics. I think no company in India has that kind of a profile for its branded formulations. Again, a very differentiated play for us in the Indian branded formulations market. We are clearly gaining market and market leadership. So I think this is something that really augurs well for us, and I think this is something that will build very strong and market share for Biocon in the years ahead.
Got that. Ma'am, what's the trajectory of licensing income for the rest of the year?
Well, this quarter we had very modest licensing income, I would say. But as you know, licensing income really is about big ticket items. Itolizumab is potentially a huge ticket item in terms of licensing realization. We are targeting to see how soon we can license itolizumab, and hopefully we can deliver on this fiscal is what our hope is. But it all depends on how quickly we conclude some of these opportunities. But basically all I can say is that we have started the discussions with interested companies. So it remains to be seen when we actually conclude these deals. But it could happen this fiscal, it could happen early next fiscal, but difficult for me to say. We are trying to target that we get some good licensing revenues. Now, apart from itolizumab, of course, we have other licensing income potential from many of our programs in emerging markets. But these will not be the really huge ticket licensing revenues that we expect from some of our bigger programs like itolizumab.
And the timeline of which you're saying could be either end of this year or probably start of next year. Ma'am, just one last question with regards to the environment, right? Go ahead, ma'am. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying these are timing issues, because it's one-time kind of deals.
Okay, got that. Ma'am, just one last question with what's been happening right now within the the economy, the environment as such. Are there any pricing pressures, issues on that front?
I don't think there are. In fact, India is poised to take advantage of a weak rupee in terms of its export opportunities. I think the government really needs to focus on exports. We need to make sure that we take full advantage of a weak rupee. I mean, exports are clearly a very important part of reducing our current account deficit. I think we need to see how we can basically curb imports by ensuring that we give full support to our Indian manufacturing sector, which we are not doing, unfortunately, because the Indian manufacturing sector continues to be at a severe disadvantage to imported products which are being dumped in the market. And I think apart from that, I think we really need to focus on SEZ issues. I think we have constantly reminded the government that the pharma sector, which is such an important contributor to GDP and to exports, is again being disadvantaged in terms of its SEZ tax benefits, where we are 2 to 3 years of tax benefits because of the inherent nature of regulatory approvals, which does not allow you to really leverage the full potential of your plant till you get regulatory approvals. And these are the kind of aspects of certain sectors that are not being factored in when they spell out these policies. So clearly, if the government really wants to support this sector, it would give a 2-year extension of SEZ tax benefits. I think this is a time when exports must be supported and incentivized by the government on all fronts. I think government tenders must focus on giving benefits to indigenous companies and indigenous manufactured products. So these are some of the things that are of concern to us. You know, we clearly know that there is a power shortage. Oil imports continue to surge, and I think the government must do much more if it really wants to take advantage of the weak rupee, or else we are just losing a very important opportunity.
Ma'am, just one point from you. I mean, at this point, just a general view from you as to what's been happening in the pharma space with the USDA cracking down hard, probably shaking confidence, of consumers of major brands. I wouldn't want to name them, but we all know about them. We talk within the pharma space. What's your view on them? Seems to be a slight bit of a sorry state at this point.
Well, I think we are focusing on Indian companies, but this is a worldwide phenomenon. I think there are warning letters issued to companies across the globe. I think this is an opportunity for Indian companies to really, beef up their procedures and make sure that we, have our systems in place. I think I see this as an opportunity for Indian companies to really address quality issues and become stronger. Issues are faced by companies across the globe, but I think they always have to take this as an opportunity for improvement, and I think that's the way I look at it. So yes, there might be temporary blips both in terms of business opportunities and perception issues, but I think we can, if companies take corrective actions and do it in a very responsible way, then moving ahead, I think they can come out much stronger.
Got that. Ma'am, thanks very much for joining and really appreciate you taking.
Industry must focus on this.
All right. Got that. Thanks, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining in, and congratulations on your numbers. Hopefully, we'll chat once again with those numbers. That's Kiran Mazumdar Shore of Biocon. Stocks up 4.5%. Nifty off the day's highs significantly. In fact, now moved into the red, 59.03 on the Nifty. So, giving up all of its intraday gains. In the Sensex also, we are down under by about 8 odd points, 19,798. Taking a quick break on that note, we'll be right back.